So welcome everybody to the CBCC Voice Business Unbox podcast. I'm Karma. I'm so glad you're joining us. Alongside me is my fantastic host, Wally from the Bankstown Chamber of Commerce. Together we're here to unpack stories, strategies and insights that drive business success. Wally, the floor is yours. Please introduce our guest.
Good morning, Karma. How are you? This is a beautiful sunny day and happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
We are here in Transit System, Bankstown Depot. Amazing people, wonderful culture. And we are here in the company of Steve Merrill, the acting regional manager. And the idea is to be able to talk about transit system as a culture, as a key industry, as a powerhouse serving our local community. And obviously, behind this, there's people, there's leadership, there's amazing team. So, Steve, good morning. How are you?
I'm quite well, Wally. And before we start, just got to pick you up. I was acting, but I've since been appointed.
Congratulations.
Yes.
So officially now you're on the record.
You can announce it. Yes, only recently, but yeah, so that was a very nice thing to happen to me recently. Mate, I've been with Transit Systems now for 8 years.
Wow.
Since the transition where we had this depot as part of the transition, getting Bankstown Depot along with another depot within the region at South Granville. I've been in the transport industry for 30 years, over 30 years. So straight out of school, you could say that transport's all I know. But having worked, in many depots, it is nice to work in this area. I do like the area. And in recent times, I'll touch on today, I know some of the recent stuff that we've done in the area to help out the people of Canterbury Bankstown and the wider community.
That's amazing. When you talk about transport, you're basically helping people to move from one area to another area. It's a wonderful, humbling service. But how does it feel? Like you are dealing with people indirectly. The product you're moving are people.
Yes, and it takes a certain person. If we just speak about the bus drivers to start with, not everyone is cut out to be a bus driver.
Yeah.
They go through ticking away. They go through extensive training, obviously. And some don't make it, but the ones that do and the ones that we've found can make a career out of it are the people that have the right temperament, the right attitude, because like you said, it's not like driving where you load it up and away you go. You are carrying, people's mothers, people's children, people's loved ones on a daily basis, and you've got to do that, in the safest possible manner. Because the priority for us every day, every trip.
Because every person on board of that bus has a mission or on a mission.
Yes.
Whether they go to work, whether they go out, or whether moving from one, from a shopping centre to another. So each one of them has a purpose and has a reason. Can you imagine from a bus driver, how do you balance that? How do you balance the needs and the expectation of the people on board?
I think it starts from the time that they get to work. And we obviously, our timetables are set to the minute. So, and they're all interlinked. So they need to get to work on time. They need to be ready to go to work. They need to have had a good night's sleep.
Like a ripple effect.
They need to be obviously, there's a zero tolerance for alcohol and drugs and everything, which is obvious. And then once they get out on the road, they need that bus that they pick up in the yard to be well maintained, to be serviced, to be roadworthy, to not have any faults. So everything goes into
safety.
Yeah, it's not just the bus just turning up there at your stop. But like you say, buses are different to other modes of transport in the sense they are everyone's plan B.
Yeah.
Karma, have you obviously you've been on a bus?
Yes, I have.
Have you sort of like talk to the bus driver when you just get on board, or you just go to your seat?
Yeah. So I remember when I was pregnant and for some reason I didn't have the car, and I also had the pram as well. So I didn't always know where to go or, which bus stop. So I found every time I'd hop on a bus, they were very helpful, telling me which stop. Even I'll be like, I'm sitting right behind you, and they remember to tell me, okay, well, this is your next stop.
That's
so
good.
Apart from safety, there's also the communication. It's very important as a bus driver.
For sure.
To help like
uncertain people that don't use the bus.
Yeah.
You've obviously got, and that's another point, Wally, is that we have people who might use the bus like yourself when you need to, and we have the people that use it every day. So there's even a different type of passenger customer that we get.
And we don't feel like we're stupid for asking. It's like, okay, well, that's
just need that reassurance.
Okay.
From a leadership perspective, now being a regional manager, how do you balance the demands of daily operations with the strategic vision of the region or for the region? What are your top priorities in that role now?
Okay. I think, like I said earlier, I've been in the industry now for 30 odd years. So I feel, and I've done varying roles within that time, obviously starting on a administrative traineeship at 17 and a half years of age and then working through all the various roles. So apart from being a bus driver myself, or actually, thank goodness, not doing any of the maintenance on the buses because I'm not a mechanically minded person. We've got people employed to do that.
Good to be honest.
Yeah. But I think I know what good looks like. I think I have been in the industry long enough, and we at Transit Systems have very well trained. We have good training in place, and we look to employ people who, can bring stuff to us that makes us better. So,
because each bus driver is an ambassador.
100%. And working in the different areas that we work, we also like to, it is better, like I said before, about, the drivers. If we can get people that live within the community, that's also better, because then, they're not traveling as long to get to work. So they're fresher when they get to work and things like that. We do look at that. So I think from the vision and what we look for, a lot of the work goes into the success. It is simple, but like we've said, getting students to and from school, getting adults to and from work, getting people to appointments, social events, safety's at the forefront, not only out on the road, but within our depots.
Do you do a school excursion as well?
100%, yeah. And we do charters, taking students in the local area, and all of our depots. We've got 11 depots in Sydney, and, taking the students to their swimming carnivals, taking the students to their athletic carnivals.
And normally from a booking perspective, how does it work? Like schools reach out to what? Just go on your
we've got a
main website?
Yeah, we've got a website. Or they can reach out to if they're repeat customers, they've got relationships with our charter office as well.
Okay, but otherwise for a new potential customer, just go to the website.
transitsystems.com.au. Yeah, and there's different things on the website, but I mean, we can put a link up later, and because like Transit Systems isn't just in New South Wales. Transit Systems is across Australia, but it's also international.
Oh, fantastic!
So speaking of school buses, I'm a mum of 2 teen girls. They're in high school. She wants to go on the bus to and from home to school. I'm the old school Lebanese, I'll take you and I'll bring you back.
Yes.
That's for me. What can you do for someone like a mum, for myself, to reassure me that my children are safe to go from A to B?
I'm also a parent. My kids are a bit older now. They're both teenage boys. But I think, it's every parent's desire for their kids to be safe. But it's also obviously your parents' desire for their kids to grow up and start being independent. So it's like what's that? Yeah, the balance. I mean, I look back to when my youngest travelled on the bus for the first time, and he went okay going to school, but then
it's very
forgot to get off at the stop, so he kept going. But thankfully, spoke to the driver. And the driver turned around and brought him back. It was part of his next run. But I think as a parent, and it's just, I honestly would probably urge you to travel on the bus, if not the school route, but just get them comfortable with travelling on buses, whether it's route services in your area, so they know what to do, like you did when you explained your story. Get them as close as they can to the driver.
The bus stop is right in front of my house.
She shouldn't miss that.
Can you imagine if you're on a train, you're tired, you sat down and you just took a nap.
You doze off.
And George has done
and then you missed.
I've done that.
And you missed your stop.
No, I can't.
How do you wake? And you wake up and where am I? Which country?
Like you said earlier, with technology also too, you just want to hope where you get off has good phone reception.
Yeah.
Because most of the kids these days, I don't know about your daughters, but they've got phones, I guess.
Phones,
Yeah. So I mean, that's, I suppose, the benefit. They can always ring or text, but I think a lot of, and we put on good communications, good programs, every start of every school year, reminding our drivers that you're going to get kids that are either starting a new high school, new bus route, kindy and things like that. Yeah.
So, Steve, talking about challenges and innovation, how do you sort of create to manage the challenges that you come across, whether it be staff shortage, whether it be customer service, maintenance, and then from an innovation perspective, I saw your buses now. You've got the pink bus, electrical bus. So tell us more about it.
Well, the key changes more often than not are always centred around staff, and I think that's the same for any bus industry.
So you're constantly hiring?
100%, yeah. And it varies, the level of shortage. I would say we're probably never in surplus. But, we're always hiring. We've got a good, I hope you can see the backdrop here. We've got Transit Academy, which was introduced, a few years back. And that is purely focused. It's a training school, if you will. We revamped that because we seen the need to invest in drivers. Prior probably to the last, I'm going to say 12 to 18 months, I think every bus depot in Sydney was short of drivers. And that was, the irony is that was at the same time that we were awarded from Transport for New South Wales the Southwest Link service. So we had to recruit close to 140 drivers to replace the train line that was being shut down to build the metro from Bankstown to Sydney. So, and that obviously gave us a greater focus on recruitment and the need to obviously recruit at a speedier rate. We were successful, but it was tough. And there were times there where you had to constantly monitor the number of drivers. And ironically, the room we're sitting in today was the room where we brought all of those drivers in for an induction class. Would probably be around no more than 6 normally. And I can say that at times we were pushing it to, we've got an adjoining room here with a dividing wall. We'd open up the whole space. And I think our maximum at one stage, we got 18 to an induction class.
From an employment perspective, people look for certainty.
Yes.
Obviously, security, future prosperity and progress. Do you offer that?
100%. And the bus industry is a great example of promotion from within.
Okay.
We have, unlike myself, that I said I'm not a bus driver. I haven't come up through the bus driving ranks. I have driven a bus, but I leave that to the experts. We've had people that we've got many different opportunities within transit systems where if you start out as a bus driver, through hard work and applying yourself, we like to advertise positions when they come up vacant. We advertise internally first. We like to promote from within. And you might be a bus driver when you first come in. Then there's an opportunity to, we've got roster clerk roles where, we have, hundreds of drivers at each depot. Those shifts each day need to be rostered.
Wow.
We have coordinators at every depot in the front office that make sure that the drivers turn up for work, cover that road work, make sure the bus goes out. We've got workshop people that, obviously work on the buses. There's opportunity for them to branch out into, 2IC roles or even workshop manager roles. We've got management roles where operations managers at depots where people have started out in the industry as a bus driver, but gradually worked their way up.
What's the minimum age to be a bus driver? Or part of the criteria?
I think, honestly...
Obviously, you need to be 18.
Yeah, 18, but I think it's 21.
21.
Yeah, it's currently 21.
Experience
yeah, currently 21. I think the industry... I attended a conference recently with Bus New South Wales, and that was one of the avenues that they were saying, to try and increase the shortfall. Because like I said, when you spoke about challenges, it is always to continue because we are a workforce that has probably a lot of people at that retirement. We continually have people at that retirement age.
Yeah.
So we need to keep the influx of people coming through.
So if someone interested to apply for a bus driver role, is there a maximum age, minimum and maximum?
There's no
so
maximum.
21?
There's no maximum.
Okay, so
There's
as
no
long,
maximum.
and do you train that person?
Yeah, we train them. There are some checks. Obviously, you've got to have your driver's license first and foremost, but then you've also got to have what is called an MR license, medium rigid. So we train you up for that. So you don't need to come to us with your medium rigid.
Okay, so you train them for that.
We train the person for that. Yeah, there's also requirements. Obviously, you need to have a working with children check. You also need to get a driver authority card through Transport for New South Wales.
Yeah, but
and medical. You need obviously to be medically
to be fit.
100%. Yeah. But the medical you can do at your regular GP, and that the forms are all online with Transport for New South Wales. But we can obviously, if you just reach out to us, we can talk you through that. But on the shortages, like I said, at transit, we're not doing too bad at the moment staff-wise, but across all of metropolitan Sydney, like I said, I was at the bus conference last week, and the figure they gave was around about 120 drivers short.
Karma, would you like to drive a bus?
No, thank you. I don't mind sitting in one, but they look massive. I've driven Tarago. That's probably the biggest.
What our trainers do say, and I've heard it many, many times, once you are trained to drive the bus,
you can drive anything.
I think that you get used to it. And my father drove a bus in the latter part of his career, so you don't need to start in the industry. You can have your career, and then midlife or towards the tail end, it can get to finish you off. And at the end of it all, he said he found driving the bus was easier than driving the car.
No,
I must give credit to the bus drivers in the CBD, because can you imagine navigating between the cars going left, right, and centres, the people and the narrow
kids
roads
now on their fat boys and the e-bikes and the like.
And just turning the corner. I'm always like, ooh. Are we up to the vision future? So looking ahead 5 to 10 years from now, how do you see the public transport evolving in the region? So technologies, business models, partnerships.
Okay. I think that with technology, the next 5 to 10 years in public transport, it'll be more personalised, more integrated technology. You spoke about before the pink buses. They're new buses. They are diesel though, they're not electric, but the electric buses that we've got, Transit Systems, I'd say, is the industry leader on bringing in zero-emission buses. At Leichhardt Depot, which isn't in this area, but it's part of the Transit Systems group, we've currently got 80 zero-emission buses. Across Transit Systems New South Wales, we've got about 120 at various depots. And that's the plan for Transport for New South Wales, is to gradually phase out all of the diesel buses and gradually, replace them with electric buses. So that's the future. But the purchasing of the buses and the rolling out obviously involved a lot of training for the workshop guys to know how to maintain them differently, getting them skilled up, which we've done and done very, very well. But the biggest hurdle for the rollout of electric buses across Sydney and New South Wales is the infrastructure at those depots. Because you're here today, you've been to Bankstown, you've seen what the depot looks like. And I mentioned to you about the varying states of depots and the hard stand. When you introduce electric buses, it basically means, unless you're going to get the chargers above ground, it means going underground to set up the grid, digging up the depot and installing the chargers.
It's a big effort.
And making sure the electrical grid around that area
capable enough.
Because what you don't want to do is install the electricity for the buses to charge at a particular depot, but have any impact on the community at the same time.
I've seen female drivers, but haven't had a chance to go visit your workshops. Do you have any females mechanics?
We do, yeah. We have female in the workshop mechanics. We have a lady I know over at Hoxton Park Depot. She's a store person. So basically her role is to distribute and allocate the parts, know what the parts are. So when the guys on the floor come and say, I need X, Y, Z, she'll book it out, make sure we've got enough inventory on hand to keep the servicing and the maintaining of the buses. So yeah, definitely.
On a separate note from our leadership lessons, obviously someone like yourself lead a large team in a complex environment. What is the most valuable leadership lesson you've learned along the way?
Turn over here. So I did write some notes. I don't want to miss this one. I think the most important thing that I learned at a very young age. I've been in management. Oh, what's the year? We're in 2025 now, so I'm going to say the
You don't
last.
have to reveal your age.
The last 20 years I've been in leadership. But the early thing I learned was you've got to set the standard. You have to model the behaviour, and that's extremely valuable lesson, because as a leader, people look to you to model the behaviour, not only that they are expected to follow, but obviously the core values of the company that you're working for. So I think, and I keep harping on it, but safety is important.
Yeah.
Communication's important.
Yeah.
Reliability, honesty, all of those things are important. And that's what I try to do on a daily basis.
Think ahead of those types.
Plan ahead every day.
Every day,
Yes.
constantly.
I've noticed that obviously you've got a CEO for this company.
Yes.
And a managing director.
Yes.
Or a general manager.
Managing Director for New South Wales.
Have they had a chance to come and visit Bankstown?
Yes, 100%. Michael McGee's our group CEO, and obviously on transition, which was a pretty hectic time. We've been through a lot of transitions, and from when Transit Systems first came into the Inner West, which is Region 6. That was the first transition that I was involved in, but Transit Systems have been involved in a lot of transitions where basically the Transport for New South Wales, the government award the contract to a different operator. So you'll keep the same buses, you'll keep the same drivers, but the new operator comes in, the buses are rebranded as Transit Systems, the drivers' uniforms are rebranded.
Yeah.
It's a tough time for those that have been with the company for a certain amount of time, and it takes a different sort of approach, and again, gets back to communication, gets back to honesty. So Michael was heavily involved in the transition recently for Region 3, which happened 3 years ago.
Okay.
Reno Matarazzo is our MD, recently started. I think he's been with us just over 4 months. But again, like myself, many, many years in the transport industry. Reno actually has me covered. I think he's got 10 more years than me. So he's been in transport, rail, buses, for 40 years. So exciting times.
Very good.
Karma?
So what does a typical day look like for a regional manager?
Okay.
So maybe is there an unexpected challenge that comes to mind, and maybe something that makes you smile?
Yep. Okay. A day in the life, I would say the most common thing is that it is a typical day is untypical.
Yeah.
There's no one day.
It's not the same. There's no routine.
There's never
basically
one day that looks the same. And what you don't want to be doing is constantly putting out fires, metaphorically. But more often than not, that's sometimes what happens, because it is. We need to adapt. We need to adjust sometimes. We plan, like I said, each timetable trip is planned to the minute, but we encounter traffic. We encounter breakdowns. We encounter roadworks. We encounter sometimes passengers having medical episodes on the bus. You think of it, it happens. But rarely do things happen in the industry for the first time. If you've been in the industry long enough, you can fall back on, I remember when that happened before and this is what we did. I suppose an unexpected challenge or moments that make me smile didn't make me smile at the time. I don't think it made anybody smile at the time. But I go back to a few years back now. But it's something that no one will ever forget is COVID-19.
Oh my God.
Right?
We don't want to mention that.
No.
Let's not talk.
That changed everything that we had to do. I'm not even going to say by the day, but things were changing by the hour.
Yeah.
As to what we needed to do as an industry. But the one thing that it did prove is that, you spoke about employment opportunities. Bus driving and the public bus transport industry was pandemic proof. We kept working. We kept working through it. We adjusted, but the buses still ran because, you know, the nurses needed to get to work. The hospitality.
You kept the economy going. You kept the community going.
Yeah. And again, it's something that hopefully comes out of showcasing transit systems. And what we do is that, you know, everybody banded together. Everyone came together and it said, okay, how can we make this work? We knew we had to make it work. And we did. There were some, you know, long nights and early mornings, and you know, sometimes when, you know, the drivers weren't immune to getting COVID themselves. So then we had to adjust. We lost staff. You know, we had to bring people in and change rosters and do all of this sort of things at short notice. We had to comply with legislation and, you know,
it's a constant challenge.
Social distancing and working out of LGAs and local, you know, communities and but we survived.
Steve, if you could inspire the next generation. Of leaders, what message do you bring?
I think we need to, for transport, it is just prioritising people over cars. We need to design, you know, transport systems that are safe, accessible, affordable, inclusive for everyone.
24/7?
24/7, yeah. A lot of them are 24/7 already.
Okay.
But we can always do better. Equity and access is important. We need to design for everyone, you know, that people can access their services, jobs, healthcare, like I said, all those things, community activities, make it affordable, continue to make it affordable. I think it's reasonably priced now. Accessible is key. Bus, like I was saying to Karma earlier off record, is that, you know, bus has the ability to go where other modes of transport can't, like rail, you know, is restricted to where the train track is. Bus is not. Bus can respond quickly. You know, if a train breaks down, bus is there.
My husband had to do the same.
I know they're not ideal. No one likes to hear the story that the trains are broken, get on bus, but we're there. We get you there. It mightn't be...
It's like a Band-Aid.
It mightn't be what you expected, but it'll get there. You know, transport impacts health, you know, through air quality, like we spoke about. So, like I mentioned, with the innovations of zero-emission buses, we keep pushing with that, and we're working in collaboration with Transport for New South Wales to increase our fleet number of buses.
So basically, we've got a bright future ahead of us.
100%, yeah.
As long as we keep
technology is another way that we can keep moving forward. Make, like, you know, apps are there which wouldn't have been, QR codes on bus stops, just to keep people, you know, similar to how they've got on trains. You know, the next bus is coming at this certain time. Years ago, that wasn't a thing, but it is now.
Obviously, you're based with the area management sort of precinct. How do you see the progress and the improvement that the area management team brought to the table here? The whole area
within the Bankstown area, it's
the Bankstown
amazing.
Airport.
It's amazing. I mean, like I said, I had no need to come into this area until 3 years ago when transit systems, you know, started up in this depot. Speaking to the drivers that, you know, work here, speaking to some of the drivers that live in the area, you know, they've got nothing but praise for how it's been developed and how it continues to be developed. You only need to drive into this area around the aerodrome to see, you know, the footpaths that are here, the landscaping,
and the tenants,
and the number,
the brands that come into the area.
I mean, the cafe that started up in here. I mean, that wasn't here when we started.
The entertainment park across the road.
Entertainment park. They've got it all.
Karma, any final question for Steve?
Just have we already answered the...
We don't have to question him. I mean, you can final message.
I think you've answered all our questions.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Gave me a bit more courage maybe to give my daughter...
Will you become a bus driver? That's the key question.
Firstly, get your daughter on the bus and get confidence with her travelling.
And then, I'll upgrade to a bus one day. Maybe my retirement.
There's the options there.
Watch out.
The options there.
Love to have you. So we're going to have the walking stick? Is that what you're saying?
Not that old.
Steve, any final message?
No, I'd like to thank yourself, Wally, and the Canterbury Bankstown Chamber of Commerce for the opportunity to get on here today, and thank Karma for coming out, spending your, like you said, beautiful Friday with us. Could have been anywhere else, but you're here, so thank you very much.
Well, Well, thank you, Steve. Thank you, Karma Photography
you.
and content creation, and a dear friend.
else.
You're amazing. And to everyone out there, remain unstoppable.
Yes, and don't forget to subscribe so you can get notified for every episode.
Or they can follow us on our
Follow us everywhere.
social
Instagram,
media,
so
TikTok, LinkedIn.
Oh, we're trying TikTok and
and the
YouTube.
website.
Everywhere. Just we're gonna be everywhere.
Keep smiling. Enjoy your day.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.